name is Materi, and I'm back for part 4 of my GTA 5 scripting tutorial series. And in this video, we're going to be building upon what we did in part 3. So if you haven't seen part 3, make sure you click on the annotation that's on the screen and watch it, and come back and you'll be all caught up and ready to start. So what we're going to do in this video is add a dog list so we can spawn any type of dog randomly instead of just a shepherd dog. So we're going to have it when you click the H key, it can spawn any random dog, not just a shepherd dog. So how are we going to do this? We're going to do this by doing lists. Now lists are the equivalent of vectors or arrays in other languages, so if you're familiar with those, great. But the first thing we're going to want to do is go up to our using statements and add a new one. We're going to add using system.collections.generic. Now this just lets us access the list element a little bit easier, or the list class a little bit easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to where our string model name line is and delete that, and we're going to add a new list. So the way we do that is by typing in list, then a less than sign, and giving it a type. Now we want a type of string since we're going to have a list of strings that contain each model name. And we're going to name our list model name, model names with an S, and set that equal to a new list of strings, and then, of strings, and then an open and closing parentheses. Now under that we're going to create the list. So there are 4 different types of dogs. There's a husky, a retriever, a Rottweiler, and a shepherd. So I looked those up in OpenIV and I got their model names, and we're going to add those in. So we do that by typing in the name of our list, which is model names, and then dot add, and then just putting the name of the model in here. So we have A_C_husky, and then we have a few more, 1, 2, 3, husky, retriever, Rottweiler, and shepherd. So now we have a list of 4 elements that are the names of the models. So how do we get that? Well, we want it to be random, so we have to make a random number generator. Now it's really easy. We just type in random and a name for the variable equals new random open and closing parentheses. Now this is going to generate a random number generator, and we could use that in our create_ped arguments. So instead of model name, let's change that to model names, and then we're going to access an index by doing a bracket, open and closing, and then inside of them we're going to want to give it the index of the element. Now the index is the number of that we want to access. So let's say I do model names of 1. Now if you're new to programming, you might think that it would return AC_husky, but that's not the case. If we do model names 1, then we're really going to get the second element, AC retriever. Now the reason that is because we start at 0 for our elements. So if we do 0, then we'll get the first element, which is husky. But we want it to be random, that's why we made a random number generator. So how do we do that? Well, we could do random.next, random.next parentheses, and inside the parentheses we need a range from 0 to 3. Now that'll give us a random number from 0 to 3, which would return the model name of one of these elements. But let's say we had more than 3, or we wanted to add some later. we'd have to go back and change this 3 to a 4 or a 5 or a 6 or so on and so on as we keep adding model names. So there's definitely an easier way to do that, and that's by taking the amount of elements inside of model names and subtracting 1. So we're going to do model names dot count, and this returns the total amount of strings that we have in our list, or the total amount of elements that we have in our list. So we have 4. But if we do this, we'll get 0 to 4. And if we have a 4th element of model names, then we won't return anything. We'll get an error since it only goes up to 3. It goes from 0, 1, 2, 3. And 4 would be nothing, and it would just be bad. So we have to subtract 1 from our count. So this would be 0 to the total elements minus 1. Now that accounts for us starting at 0. So this is really nice because we could just add a crazy amount of model names without ever have to worrying about changing this number and counting the amount of models that we added, and it just saves us a lot of time. So I'll be right back. I'm going to check this in game after I compile it. So I'll actually compile it first and bring it over to the GTA 5 folder from your debug folder inside of your project, and copy and replace. And so I'll be back in game in just a second to see if this is working. So just bear with me for a second. Alright, so we're back in game and we're going to test this out. Now what should happen is when I press the H key, or the whatever your activated key is, a random dog from that list should appear. So it should be a Husky, a Retriever, a Rottweiler, or a Shepherd dog. Just randomly, no pattern to them or anything. So let's try it out. Well, it works. That's a lot of freaking dogs. We're actually going to address that pretty soon in the next video, and we're also going to address that they're not doing anything. They're not following us, they're not doing anything. They're just kind of standing there like random dogs. It's kind of creepy. But anyway, that's... Oh no, don't attack me. Holy crap, that's a lot of people. But yeah. In the next video, we're going to address having a limited amount of dogs and also making them follow us, and hopefully, if we have enough time in that video, defending us. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.